Have you heard the term Banana Republic before? Not this. This. The term Banana Republic first appeared in a short story written by O. Henry in 1901. It's a derogatory term for a poor, financially unstable country with an economy entirely dependent on exporting a single product, such as bananas. Agriculture was a part of many South American economies, but the invention of refrigeration, specifically larger-scale commercial refrigeration in the 1940s, allowed their products to be sold internationally via refrigerated cargo ships. Their biggest customer was, of course, the United States. The three major fruit companies in South America were the United, Standard, and Coyamel fruit companies. Each has significant history and unethical behavior, but we will be focusing on the United Fruit Company for the sake of time.
In the early 1900s, as United Fruit sought to conquer the American market, they initiated an ambitious advertising campaign to promote their bananas. But what began as a strategy based on logic and science would soon evolve into a captivating tale of emotion and deception. United Fruit, established in the late 19th century, embarked on a mission to make bananas a staple in every American household. In 1917, they initiated their first advertising campaign, focusing on the supposed nutritional benefits of bananas. Scientists were hired to provide positive reviews, leading to the publication of Food Value of the Banana, opinions of leading medical and scientific authorities. However, the claims made in these articles were often unfounded. Yet, the American public, in an era dominated by rational advertising, believed the seemingly scientific endorsements. United Fruit's banana sales soared. In the 1920s, a maverick propagandist named Edward Bernays revolutionized American advertising by tapping into emotions rather than logic. His success in making smoking socially acceptable for women at a women's rights march paved the way for emotionally driven campaigns. United Fruit followed suit, launching an emotionally loaded campaign centered around their cruise liner, the Great White Fleet. This cruise promised adventure and romance in Central and South America, appealing to Americans' sense of wanderlust. The cruise liner, a symbol of corporate goodwill, sailed civilians to United Fruit-controlled countries. The journey promised exotic adventures, but the reality was far from the picturesque scene portrayed in their advertisements. Tourists were shown carefully staged sections of the banana plantations, hiding the harsh working conditions and corruption. The false sense of romanticism in their ads lured more Americans to embark on this exotic adventure.
In the late 1920s, the United Fruit Company owned around 220,000 acres of land. Due to owning this large amount of land, the United Fruit Company had power and influence in the Colombian government. With this much land to oversee, keeping working conditions in top shape was not the United Fruit Company's main concern. For the past decade, workers of the United Fruit Company have been asking for better working conditions and have been actively going on strike to fight for their cause. The strike finally reached a point where the workers were fed up, and about 1,400 workers went to voice their concerns to the governor of Magdalena. When they arrived to meet with the governor on December 5th, they were met with around 300 armed soldiers. At 1:30 a.m., the workers were ordered to leave. After 5 minutes, the soldiers began to open fire on the remaining crowd who chose not to leave. This initial attack left 9 people dead and around 20 injured. For the days following, the military continued to attack striking workers and also focused on killing union leaders. After about 3 days, the military stopped their search, and by this point, the Colombian army had killed between 47 and 2,000 workers of the United Fruit Company. In 1954, the United Fruit Company found themselves in the middle of a US-led coup. This coup was orchestrated by the CIA. The reason for the coup was due to the current president of Guatemala, President Arbenz. When Arbenz was in office, he proposed Decree 900. This decree would make the United Fruit Company lose a large amount of land. At this point, the US government was on good terms with the United Fruit Company due to their economic chokehold over the South American fruit market. Due to these good relations, the United States Secretary of State and the CIA director planned a coup. Due to this coup, Decree 900 was reversed, the president was overthrown, and the United Fruit Company regained all lost land.
The United Fruit Company split since demand for bananas had decreased in the U.S. market in the 1950s. due to the availability of processed fruits. This led to the United Fruit Company having to make their fruit productions diverse in the 60s to meet market demands for processed fruit. The split continued further when the company merged with AMK and created a food conglomeration in 1970 called United Brands Company. The name was later changed in 1989 to Chiquita Brands. From sometime in 1997 to September 2004, Chiquita Brands had paid money to the United Self-Defense Forces of Colombia in locations in which Chiquita had banana-producing operations. Chiquita was making these payments through a Colombian subsidiary of theirs called Bananumentary. The 100 payments that Chiquita had made to the organization totaled up to around $1.7 million. The terrorist organization had been classified as a foreign terrorist organization and as a specially designated organization in 2001 by the U.S. government. Because of these classifications being made, it was a crime for Chiquita to send money to the organization. The company took a plea deal and pled guilty, which led to Chiquita only having to pay $25 million as their criminal fee. Chiquita kept making the payments to the terrorist organization even after they disclosed the payments to the DOJ. Bananumentary was eventually sold by Chiquita to a Colombian buyer in June 2004.
The United Fruit Company is of course still around today, though it has since rebranded as Chiquita. In 2014, there was a plan to merge with the Irish firm Fifes, which would have created the world's largest exporter of bananas. However, they ended up rejecting the offer and continuing as competitors, after receiving another offer from the Brazilian juice company Clutral, in the Safra investment firm. In the end, however, these masters of Musa, these captains of Cavendish, these titans of a thriving industry may be standing upon a crumbling foundation, as the very bananas they rely on are at increasing risk of disease. Soil-borne fungus has proven devastating to existing banana plants, which are all genetically identical. Selective breeding to create existing Cavendish bananas means the plants are now sterile, and leaves them especially vulnerable to disease. It's entirely possible we could see the extinction of those bananas in the near future, which could very well prove to be the downfall of these companies.